right, so once you have your image completely transferred over to your block, the process as far as what you're going to pull out is going to be pretty similar to what we did for those Linocut stamps for the Stretch and Explore. So you're going to grab one of those handles, the V and U gouges. I would say you don't really need the detail V for now. And then you'll also grab out one of those non-slip mats. Non-slip mats are really important with these. The linoleum that we use is very slippery, so it does really avoid that and keeps that from slipping around as you're working, and that helps kind of minimize any safety risk, and then also allows you to get better results with your overall project. And then as you get started with carving, typically what is most helpful is to start with your V gouge first, essentially outline all of the imagery that you want to read as black to get those outlined, and then go in with your U gouge and then clear out any larger information that's left behind after that initial outline. Essentially what this is going to do is it's going to allow you to essentially protect those edges, and it'll allow you to get a cleaner result with your final print and with your final image. Oftentimes if you go in with your U gouge initially, sometimes it can essentially where you'll have skids where it just clears out information that you didn't intend to. So by outlining everything first with that V gouge and going very carefully, this is usually the step that's very meticulous. It's going to take you the longest to kind of essentially outline everything initially, but this is going to allow you then, when you get to that end, when you get to your U gouge, the process itself is going to speed up quite a bit, because you're just then going to clear out any of that larger information. Your edges are going to have that little bit of a protective halo, so then when you go in, you'll be less likely to essentially bump up into that information and cut out information that you didn't intend to. And then kind of moving forward, sometimes what can be helpful is when you have information that is meeting an outline and then has kind of either perpendicular change to line, it can be helpful to use an X-Acto and to go in and essentially create kind of a pre-cut, so that when you go to essentially meet up that joint or those two lines together, it allows you to essentially avoid having that slip out a little bit and then removing that line. It is a more advanced step, so I'd say if you're not really sure how to do this or don't feel comfortable, you don't have to. But what you'll do is essentially go in, kind of outline those edges with your X-Acto, and then go on with your U or V gouge to remove then that other information. And this can be nice in the sense that it does just allow you to get a little bit more control, where you do have information that kind of butts up against it, where you have those kind of perpendicular facing lines. Gives you a little bit more control. And then just a few kind of general recommendations and tips as I kind of speed up and go through the rest of the block on this one. Always have your non-slip mat underneath. This is going to save you a lot of that skidding. Same as with the stamps, make sure that you're keeping your hands back behind your gouge whenever possible, or to the side. What you want to avoid is just having your gouge face your fingers. And then with these non-slip mats, it does allow you to have that nice full rotation. So as you go through, do make use of that rotation. Rotate your lino as much as you need to. It's a lot easier just to rotate that than to have to go towards your fingers, have it skid out, and then have to deal with cuts. Otherwise, as you go through, you'll notice that I'm just kind of placing any of my Linocut scraps on that non-slip mat. This isn't a perfect system. It'll collect most of the larger pieces. Some of those smaller pieces will still slide through, but then it does allow you to take that non-slip mat, I'd say pick it up directly from your table, kind of let any of those smaller pieces fall out, bring it over to the trash, get those thrown away, and then you can kind of collect the rest with your hands and then throw out those remaining pieces. And then it does help speed up, clean up a little bit. You can also stack these just to the side as well too. Otherwise, as you are working through and as you are continuing to carve, I would say just kind of keep looking, checking through your block, make sure that you're not missing areas. We will do a test print with these, so if you do happen to miss information, it's not a big deal because we'll check that before we go into our final printing. But for the carving process, just kind of work through looking at your V gouges first, U gouge, and then detail gouges where you have those really small pieces of information. Otherwise, that will be it. Let me know if you have questions.